Hello and welcome to a video, my first video of 2022. And yeah, I've done this video before. I recorded the intro, so that's why it seems awkward. We are going to be ranking the MCBC players, at least everyone who's played in a main event, and then a few admins. There's a few people I am missing here, but yeah, and we'll be ranking them out of S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D, and then F. Um, Before we get too deep into this, I just want to throw out there that I this is my opinion, and so don't get mad if like one of your favorite YouTubers or you, if you're one of the YouTubers watching this, if you do not make it high in this list. This is my own personal opinion, and this is how they played in MCBCs, not their actual skill in Minecraft. So like, there are some players like TF Brit, for example, who I know has grown and who has gotten much better since MCBC Season 10. I have not personally seen him play much of the MCBC games, mostly because we've been shut down and MCBC's been on break and all that stuff. So that's why if he does get lower, or if someone does get lower, that is probably why. Again, season 11 is coming up, so I wanted to make this video to kind of like celebrate that and like kind of get ready for what's to come. And again, there are a few admins who have played in main events, like Cinnamon Thighs, Peril, Corrupt, and Slater, who played in TCBC. So they will be making this ranking as well. I'll be trying to also not factor in Jace's admin advantage, although it's going to have to be factored in a little bit because in his one season he had major admin advantage. So let's get right into this and start with TC Gamer. TC. Honestly, here's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that TC is a god player. And that might sound a little rude, and I'm very sorry for that. But TC did have a couple of bad seasons. It's hard to have good seasons when you're there with teams of two, and I think that's kind of the hope going forward with teams of three, is that you'll be able to kind of have more balanced teams. Because the problem with was before is that you would just have one good player and like one player who's just not as strong. So I don't think TC is an F though. I don't think TC is an F because one thing that TC does have is actually like there's a bit of communication there. I've watched some of the VODs, and at least like there's some sort of communication there, and I think that does go a long way. If you're like, as long as you're like there talking, you're not a terrible teammate. Like I don't think that can make you bad. Anyone can improve. Anyone can get better. And so yeah, I'll give TC a solid D tier. That might look bad, but honestly, if TC does come back in future seasons, I honestly think TC could do very, very well. Now, 1UP MC was only played in one season. So, and in that season was TZBC. I was an admin for that, so I did get to watch 1UP MC very closely when it comes to like I did get to see it because I was an admin. I wasn't paying attention to my own team and all that. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's very good at PvP. I think he lacked a little bit of game knowledge, and I do think he could have became a better player if he continued to play in the event, like in Season 10, or again in Season 11 when that eventually happens. So I will give a solid C, high C tier. If there was a C plus, I would. I think he needs a little bit more game knowledge when it comes to like just knowing how to play some of the games. But that's what happens when you have Slater on your team. You don't get prepared well enough to to be in a good event. That's why he's just not as good a teammate as me. Peril, he is, I would say, an easy high A tier player. Very good. If he got off Valorant every now and again, he'd probably be an S tier. But he just doesn't. So yeah, high A tier. I would probably say he's very close up there in same skill as Caper and Snipe Shot. It's just he just doesn't get off Valorant enough. Corrupt Skeleton. I think if Corrupt is trying. Corrupt is a good friend of mine, by the way. I should probably throw that out there. If Corrupt is trying, easy, lower A tier, but easy A tier. But I'm ranking this overall, and in the one season he did play, I would say he was around a B tier. He was on the team with Snipe. They won that season. He scored extremely well, but can't always you never like. He's obviously played in admin MCBCs and all that, so I kind of have a better understanding of how he actually plays. So easy high B tier or low C tier. If there's a B plus, you would definitely make that. Now, The exploiter himself here. I'm gonna talk about this. The exploiter himself, Mr. Slater. Um, Man, this guy's got some problems. First off, he runs the event, right? So obviously he has an easy. If we were going off of knowledge of the games, he's an easy S tier, but we're not. So I think Slater is even with like I think he gets a lot more slack than he actually deserves. This is me being legit now. Um, I think he gets a lot more slack than he deserves. I think he's more of an A tier though. I don't think he's S. Even with his overall like I think in the one season he did play, and obviously he's played in MCBCs and he's won those and he's done very well. But in the one season he played in TCBC, he had definitely not a very high skilled roster. And what I mean by that is like everyone was around the same level. Where like Caper and Snipe weren't in it, Pete wasn't in it, I wasn't in it. So there wasn't any like I would say all the top gunners in that season were all around the same level, and they were all very good. But I mean, like they were all around the same level. So there's no one like who was like the clear best player in that. And so I definitely think when you factor in One Up and Slater, who just has overall game knowledge to any of the games, that's why that team did so well because he had the PvP, and where Slater lacks in PvP, he does better in movement and just overall knowledge in general. So yeah, I think it's definitely a lower B tier. I think if he worked on his PvP a bit more, he'd probably be or a lower A tier, sorry, and he'd probably be a lot higher if he was just better PvP because I think that hurts him a little bit. But I think he knows that. Curry Kane, someone I really want to team with eventually. I would say is an easy B tier, probably higher than Corrupt though. I think he is better personally. Um, I just think he didn't get enough time to play in the actual seasons. He only was in 8 and 10, I think. And I just think he needs a team that can just like oh no, he played in 9 too, sorry. When it comes to MCBC, it's always good to have a leader on your team, and I don't think Curry is that leader, which is totally okay. He definitely could become that leader, but I also don't think he's ever really had a leader on his team, which definitely hurts. So yeah, I think easy B tier. I want a team with Curry eventually, so hopefully he doesn't hate me after that. Chimichangas, or just Chimmy, I guess at this point. I think that's an older logo. I think he's again another B tier. I would just because of game knowledge, I'd put him above Curry. I think they are around the same skill level when it comes to just overall gameplay, but I do think Chimmy is better overall. Um, Okay, I think that's enough said about Jimmy. I don't know. He played really well in season 6. Season 5, not so much, but Anyway, he did well in all of his seasons, and yeah, I think again, I just think he needs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he needs. I think he's a good player. I don't know where else to go with that. He's a good player. He's a lot more knowledgeable. High B tier. If there's a B plus, he'd be in that. Oh, T-Box. T-Box. Oh. T-Bogs, if we're like ranking teammates, he's an easy S tier. T-Bogs is the guy who got me my win, just for everyone, to kind of let that roll around your head. I'm not biased at all, trust me. T-Bogs, okay, I'm going to try and be honest here. T-Bogs is a really good player. He is solid. He's a very solid player in every game. I don't think there's a game he's necessarily bad at, but for me to be the nicest I possibly can here, without angering all of his entire fan base. T-Bogs kind of has this thing where he gets confused. It happens all the time, and it's more funny than anything. Like it's not like he's actually confused, but more like he just like acts confused. I think I don't know. And yeah, I do think like it's just I don't know how else to really like. I think if it was like I don't know, it's dude. But it like that it kind of equals out because his skill is actually pretty good too. So I would say again a very high B tier. I would say him and Chimmy are around the same level. I think maybe Chimmy might be better in PvP. Maybe now. Again, I haven't really like played with a lot of them in a while, and like Curry might be better too. But I would say like they're all around. It's dude, this is hard. It's much harder than I thought it would be. Fair. JTG. Only played in one season. Only played in one season. He was supposed to play in two, but he only played in one. It was season 5. One of the highest skill seasons, period. And I don't have SIP on here. I just realized that. I'll edit SIP in. Yeah, I think JTG, I think he's an easy C tier. You didn't really get much chance to shine, especially because he's in season 5 with such a high skill roster. And yeah, I do think that kind of hurt him a little bit. I am missing a few people on this list. I'm going to edit them in afterward. So I'll do them last. Sip and Peters, I'll do afterward. Simply me pretty. Played in one season, season 3, but just off of scores alone and off of what I think. And it was such a long time ago that it's really hard to remember. And the fact that in Capers VOD, you don't really hear Simply speak once. I don't know how else to word. It was just like maybe that day was not the best day for a tournament, and maybe because like we were so early on in the tournament that like people didn't really take us seriously. And she was a pretty sizable YouTuber. Like we were I think she was around like 30K or something. So like some people don't necessarily take us seriously, especially back then or even now. To be perfectly honest with you, so I think maybe that's kind of maybe what it was. I'm gonna guess. So yeah, that's what I think. So with Grim, I think if we were going off of just solely season 6, I'd have to give him an S tier. He probably would have been up there with Snipe and Caper, but I think his other 2 seasons just didn't show that. And even 5 when he was in that, like he did okay, but like it was more like a warm up season for him. So that's why I don't really ever remember that. And I think TZBC in 8 just really hurt him. To be 100% honest, when in season 8, it was the highest skill season we've ever had. Like it had some of the highest skill players, period. So yeah, like I don't fault him for not doing well. Like I didn't do well in that season. So I will give Grim an easy B tier. Goggle Gecko or Gecko, the add-on man himself. I think again, if we were going off of one season, he wouldn't be that high, but I think he definitely redeemed himself in the last few seasons he was in. Because I think a lot of people shit on him, or did shit on him when he first joined the MCBC team, and he was on a team with Person, and I don't think it was fair. And he came back and he almost won 7 and TZBC. So I will have to easily give him. I would honestly, I might put him ahead of 1UP MC, not because of skill, but just because of game knowledge. I think he because he just has more experience than either of these 2 players. So that's why I would give him a higher C tier. I think if 1UP had a little bit more skill, I do think he might be better. He's definitely better in PvP, I think. But sorry. But yeah, I'll give Gecko a high C tier. Very good support player, and honestly, such a cool redemption for him. Especially because he didn't do that well back. I think it was season 6 that happened. He didn't do very well, and then in 7 and in TZBC he just like did really well. So yeah, GGMC was the biggest surprise of season 10. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be like having to play every game mode. I thought it was gonna have to be a bunch of things, but no, he was GGMC. He popped off in that entire game. So I think just out of respect for that, I got to give him B. Now, it's hard to really say because as we've experienced, sometimes you can just pop off in one season and then fizzle out. That has happened before. People popped off in seasons and then done really well, and then other seasons they go back to more of like a casual thing. They get lucky one season. I got lucky in season 4, and I think that it definitely has that helped me in season and like with winning that season. I got extremely lucky. So we'll have to keep an eye on his progress. But yeah, very good player, solid player. I'm excited to see his future. Cinnamon Thighs. I mean, if we were going off a building, this guy would be number 1 and all of us would be down here. But like we already knew that. Cinnamon Thighs is an admin for MCBC. He builds the Rift Race maps. But before that, he was in season 5 and he was in a team with Sip and he won. And but you know what, to be 100% honest with you, Cinnamon's not even bad. It's not even that he got lucky. Like they just had a really good team. Season 5, I wasn't in that season, but him and Sip were just a damn good team. So I think I got to give him a B tier. So, very good player. Yeah. Double thumbs up. Okay. Now we get into the interesting. These are the ones you've been waiting for. Because, I know half of you are probably, waiting for me to rank Brit, and that's why I put him last. And you're waiting to see where I put me. Snipe Shot. One of the most, I'd say probably, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Snipe's the best player. Sorry. We can debate in the comments. You know what? Let's debate in the comments. Who do you think the best player is? I think it's Snipe Shot, but I think Snipe Shot is the best of all time. I do think Caper has the will to become the best. I'm just gonna do it. Caper is right next to Snipe on S tier. We're gonna edit him in, so he's appearing somewhere right now. They are both S tier, but I think Snipe is better for the sole fact of just. I just think when it comes to being able to prepare your teammate, and that whole thing he did in season 2 where he analyzed a trailer that none of us even thought about doing, went frame by frame to figure out an entire game mode. None of us would have thought of that. I mean, I would have thought of that now, but back then I wouldn't even have dreamed of doing that. So, yeah, no, he's easily the best player. I do think he had a couple rough seasons near the end, and I think if he puts back the work and he starts getting up his skill again, because I do think he's fallen off a little bit. Not that that can't be brought back. It's just being rusty at Minecraft. But yeah, Snipe is the best. Caper number 2. I think Caper is better overall at Minecraft, especially now that he's on PC and all that. And I do think, Caper could become better than Snipe in future seasons, but Snipe Shot is easily the best. All right, let's put the Obama meme on chat right now. Let's put it on chat right now. It's Obama giving himself a medal. That's what this is. That's what this is right now. Now, I'm not going to give myself S tier because that's just not true. But I will give myself an A tier. And let me tell you why. Although I don't like telling you why. I think for my own I don't like giving myself... No. I mean, I do think I have a lot of game knowledge. I don't like talking about myself like this. I don't like giving myself... I am A tier, and that is going to be the end of it. If you want to discuss about this, go message Slater, and he will tell you why, because he is better at describing than me. Because I am A tier. Yeah, and I'm going to put Peter's HD right next to me. Yeah, that's how it's going. Peter's is right there now, hopefully. Even if, he's going to be there right now. Mastercrafters, DJ Philly. Oh, DJ Philly. One of my favorite teammates. A tier, S tier. Philly's not S tier. I'm sorry. As much as I want him to be S tier, he's not S tier. I hate to say that. But he's not F tier though. He's not F tier either. Philly's a damn good player. Maybe not the strongest in PvP. Maybe not the strongest in some game modes, but he's solid in every game mode. He's just not solid in Cactus. He's just gotten dicked every time he's gotten to Cactus. He's been put up against the 2 strongest teams in Cactus. I'd like to see how you do against Pete and Caper in Cactus. Yeah, I didn't think so. You're not gonna do well at all. You get your ass kicked. This guy. He went up against Sip, Cinnamon, Caper, and Pete. The 2 by far best teams in Cactus. And you know what? They still won at least a round. It was him and Snipe, but they still won a round. Philly needs a season where he gets into Cactus against Slater and Corrupt or something. 2 people are just bad at Cactus, So, or just Slater and anybody, I guess. But so I think Philly is an easy C tier. However, I think he's a good enough team player where he could be a B tier. I think a C plus is a better spot to put him, but we don't have those. It makes this whole too very convoluted. So, easy C tier. Very good player. Awesome team morale keeper. That doesn't make sense, but yeah, he's a very good team morale player, and that is always a good person to have on your team. 10 out of 10 would team with again. Xan game. I can already hear people in the comments. Oh, you're gonna overestimate Xan because we're in real life. Xan is not the worst player in the tournament. She has 2 more wins than most people on this list, or she at least has 1 more win than most people on this list. And you could say she got carried. But in season 3, it came down to 3 points. Britt and Ann were on a team, and they came back using the Chump Charity, like top multiplier, and it came down to 3 points. That is not being carried. If Charity did not make one more parkour stage, or that one extra person dead in Spleef, or didn't do one thing more, they wouldn't have been in Cactus, because there's nothing that just account. At least back then, there was nothing that just gave you like 3 points. It was always like 5 or 10. It was all easy mathematicals because it was all, it was an easier system because it was earlier on when Jace was making the thing. And in season 10, when she won, it wasn't her she got carried. It was the exact opposite, I would say. She got carried a little bit, or probably a lot during the season, because Caper got like something like really stupid amount of points. But then in Cactus, she just, she did exactly what she needed to do to keep them off of Caper so then they could win, which is not being carried in my eyes. It's not. Sorry. A very good player. Not going to say, I'm not going to try and like overhype it a little or at all. I think when it comes to game knowledge, she's definitely up here though. But I do think she worked on it, her parkour skills, her movement skills a little bit more. She would be higher, but it's hard to really give her anything else. But she's not a terrible player. And Person. Oh, dude, and Person, it's such a good, we almost did it, man. We almost did it, but I threw and we lost. We didn't get the Cactus because of it, but and such a good teammate. I'm gonna say he is easily in B tier, easily. And there's a lot of people in B tier. It just shows you like how balanced our roster, or how level our roster is. I'd say a lot of these people are around the same skill level. It just really depends on situation. And last but not least, we are missing a few people, and I'll edit them in after. Last but not least, we got TF Brit. Now, TF Brit has a win. It is no secret. Back in Season 7, before Season 7, he didn't have a win. It was kind of a joke that he didn't have a win, but he got his win. It was a very good season. And he is improved greatly. He has became the GOAT of Hive recently. I don't know if that's actually like official, but that's what I've heard. But in MCBC, he has struggled before. Now, again, I have no idea how he's going to play in 11. We'll see. And maybe I'll make this video again when 11 happens, and we'll put in all the new players, whoever is going to join our lovely roster. But TF Brit has struggled in the past when it comes to certain seasons, especially in Cactus. He's gotten a Cactus many times, and he's lost, which is not very good. However, going off of just his MCBC skill, I cannot in good conscience put him in A tier. I just can't. I can't bring myself to do that. So I think I'm going to have to put him in a high B tier. Probably above Chimmy, though. And I only say that because when he created things like ML and he started learning how the games actually worked, it did help him when it comes to playing the games. So I think the knowledge is there. I think the skill is there. He just needs to apply it all. Not that he hasn't applied it all. Just saying that we haven't been really shown that yet. He hasn't been given an opportunity to show that yet. That's why Brit is there. So, yeah. Okay. So the rest of the players on this list, we are missing a few people. I'm just going to throw them in now. They're going to just appear as I'm talking. We got Caper on S tier. Very good player. Right next to Snipe Shot. But, yeah, I think Snipe's better. We got Sip right next to him. Very good player. But I would say Caper is better because of overall game knowledge and because he's played in more seasons. In A tier, we're going to put Peters HD because Peters is a good player. However, he plays hide and seek with Mike Wazowski too much. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Anyway, yeah. And that's my list. I can't. If I'm missing anybody else, please let me know. And maybe like on my Twitter, which you can go follow, by the way, down in the description. Maybe if I do miss anyone else, I'll create like a completed list and I'll put that up there. And then let's chat about it in the comments. Let's go down in the comments, type your list, of like 1, 2, 3, 4, or like S tier, and then like put your names down, and let's chat about it. And like, if you do agree, do you disagree? Again, this is my opinion, so like, don't hate me if and if you're on this list, like if you're one of the people on this list and you didn't make it as high as you can, don't hate me. This is my opinion. You could probably most of these players could probably destroy me, and I do feel like a dick putting myself that high, but I don't know. Okay, that I don't know. I don't know how else to word that. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching this video. It was kind of very an abrupt ending, but when I was recording this, I started to get tired near the end, and I kind of forgot that I actually was recording, and I didn't really do an outro. So, once again, and this entire list is my opinion. So, like, don't be offended if you didn't make the list or whatever. Um, but thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have got to this part of the video, like, thank you, and I'm just grateful for everything you guys have done for me. So, thank you. I'll talk to you guys later. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, and get ready for all the videos I have planned for the future because yeah, no, I got some stuff planned, and it's gonna be fun. So I want you guys to be here and get to see it. So uh, I will see you guys later. Make sure to do everything I already said, and peace out.